Hello, hello. Utsav hear you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, hello. Yes, sir. You are pretty well audible, sir. You are audible,
Namaskar,
sir.
can
But
you hear me?
I request you to please put off your video so that we can hear you more in more clear version.
अच्छा,
Right.
ये तो अभी अभी सुन सकते हैं?
Yes. You are audible, sir.
ओके,
So
तो
let me
अभी शुरू?
allow me to start the program, sir.
या ओके, डन, या
Sure. So, a very good morning to all of you present here. In today's SOCHAM virtual conference on the strategic perspective on the cold chain industry, we are gathered here to discuss the opportunities, the challenges, and a way forward for the cold chain industry in India. As all of you are aware that the cold chain industry is seen as an emerging and fast growing business sector in India, considering the current issue of food shortage and food security in India, cold chain facilities will play an important role in the country. Latest technology used world over in the cold chain sector is making inroads in India, and with the government sanctioning new cold chain projects in the recent past, the demand for more efficient cold storages is going to increase in the future. Indian agriculture urgently needs a third revolution, and that is the cool revolution to build efficient market links through a sustainable cold chain. Hence, with the support from government, new players are going to enter India, and a platform is required where these latest known know how equipments and infra facilities get noticed, and new players are made aware of. To reach its full economic potential and to achieve the mission of doubling the farmers' income as envisioned by Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, the India cold chain market was worth rupees 1 billion in 2018. The market is further projected to reach rupees 2618 billion by 2024, growing at a CAGR of 14.8 during 2019 to 2024. Cold chains impart storage and distribution services of projects that have to be maintained at a given temperature. The recent announcement by Honorable Finance Minister to geotag India's cold chain facilities by NABARD to help them become more efficient is an exemplary set towards the development of cold chain facility in India. Keeping such importance in mind, cold chain sector, and in order to focus the areas like latest technology in the sector, creation of cold chain infrastructure, statutory clearances required the state government, role of clean energy, and linking all these activities with market, ASOCHAM today is organizing a virtual conference on the strategic perspective on the cold chain industry, and where we will be discussing opportunities, challenges, and a way forward. Now, without taking much time, I'd like to welcome Sri Mangarish Pai Raikarji, Honorable Chairman, ASOCHAM Goa State Council. Sri Mangarish Pai Raikar is the Chairman and Managing Director of Brown Packaging Systems Private Limited. He is also the Chairman of RCPR College of Agriculture at Savai in Goa. And as an entrepreneur, faculty in management, mentor to several budding entrepreneurs and students, academicians, philanthropists. He's one of the author, column writer, director, and actor on stage and screen, and a social worker associated with organizations like Disabled Children, Old Age Care Home, Palliative Care Center, and Entrepreneur Development and Training Institutes. Mangarish ji is also the chairman for National Council of MSME for ASOCHAM. Then he is the member of National Board of MSME, Government of India. Again, he is the member of Entrepreneur Committee of MSME in Reserve Bank of India. He is the first generation entrepreneur started with accumulator manufacturing company, further diverse to pack industry and an industrial consultancy services. He is also one of the national awardee for excellence in entrepreneurship from President of India in 1988. I welcome you, Mangri sir, and I request you to please welcome all our distinguished panelists. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Utsav ji. Thanks for the nice words. Good morning, friends and dignitaries present over here. On behalf of SHM, I welcome all the participants in today's virtual conference on the strategic perspective on cold chain industry, opportunities, challenges, and a roadmap. I have great pleasure in welcoming our guest, Shri Rajesh Goyal ji, President, Federation of Cold Storage Association of India, Shri Permati Venkatramana, International Corporate Lawyer, Business Strategist, and Chief of PVR, Mr. Jaya Jha, Manager, First Line Limited, Srimati Usha Ramesh, General Manager, NABARD, Regional Office, Goa, Sri Ganjiwarji, Director, SHM West. We are grateful to you that you have taken time out of your busy schedule to address all of us. Your presence, in spite of your busy schedule, is really applaudable. I also welcome Sri Dr. Anil Patte, Managing Director, Goa Dairy, Sri Kiran Gubba, Director and CEO of Gubba Cold Storage Private Limited, Sri Swarup Bose, CEO, Celsius Logistics Solutions Private Limited, Sri Pramod Shedgaonkar, owner of Cold Chain India Logistics, Sri Deepak Bandekar ji, Director, Directorate of Trade and Commerce, Government of Goa, Sri Rawal, Chairman, Food Processing Committee of SHM Western Council. Would also extend a great welcome to all the experts of the session for accepting our invitation to be here despite of their hectic schedule on this working day. Cold chain logistics in India includes controlled atmosphere vehicles, cold sorting and grading facilities, modern pack houses, and controlled atmosphere retail stores. Cold chain logistics for horticulture and agro-food products have been the focus area for India, as post-harvest food loss has been the major concern. Some say it is as high as almost 50%. And to bring down these losses and to make good the farmer's income, I think the food loss which is hindering the goal of food security and price stability is needs to be improved upon by virtue of improving the cold chain logistics in India. In order to boost development of cold chain for horticulture and agro-food products sector, Government of India is providing various financial and technological assistance under the scheme of Ministry of Food Processing and Industries, Agriculture and Processed Food Products, Export Development Authority, and National Horticulture Board. An uneven distribution of storage capacity, lack of logistical connectivity support, highly segregated cold storage locations, need for high capital investment, and others are acting as the hurdles for cold chain industry in India. India's cold chain industry is still evolving, unorganized, and operating below capacity, as most equipment in use are not technically updated. Utilization of obsolete refrigeration system in cold storage of India is quite prevalent, as most of the cold stores across India lack upgraded or technologically sound refrigeration systems, which are directly impacting industry stakeholders. Majority running on based on ammonia refrigeration system lacking the capacity control mechanism, due to which energy efficiency is considerably low for the cold. Old compressors require the installation of large size bunker style evaporator coils and other diffuser units. There is also an urgent need to establish more multi-purpose cold storage across India, as about 75% of the current cold storage in India is suitable only for potato storage, and only 23% is meant for multi-purpose. However, in value terms, potato storage, according to the study, contributes only about 20% in the total revenue of cold chain storage, while over 54% cold chain storage revenues come from multi-purpose storage, only rent fetched for potatoes is quite low as compared to the other food products. There is a need to economically viable options like multi-purpose cold storages, as they have high capacity utilization as compared to that of conventional storages. Presence of a large number of small players in the India's cold storage market is a significant disadvantage, as they lack monetary means to make investment in establishing large cold storages. The study said, adding that exorbitant property prices coupled with usage of obsolete technology has led to the lower cold storage capacity in India. Though India accounts for about 11% of global vegetable production, but the cold chain capacity in India is available for just about 9 million tons of vegetables, the study has asserted. This not only leads to huge wastage of fruits and vegetables, which in the tune of about 35,000 crores annually, but severely impact India's share in the global exports of fruits and vegetables, which is just about 2%. In fact, I would also add fish to it, because a lot of fish which is caught along the coastal lines, the storage capacity is limited, and hence lot of wastages occur. Of about 85 tons of vegetables and 45 metric tons of fruits being produced in India annually, the study said only about 4 million tons of fruits and vegetables are transported in refrigerated vehicles in the country. Apart from horticulture, India produces about 130 million tons of milk annually, but the country currently has milk storage capacity for just about 80,000 tons. Due to lack of cold chain infrastructure, about 30% of about 10 million metric tons of fish produced in India annually gets wasted. In India, about 95% cold storages are managed by private companies, while in countries like USA, China, Brazil, Germany, Japan, and others, major portion of refrigerated storages fall under public refrigerator warehouses. It is certain that India needs to adopt green cold chain concept by promoting installation of energy efficient equipment, as this would not only make a positive impact on the environment, but would also help the cold chain industry stakeholders to increase their revenue in long run. The government of India has given an ambitious target of reaching 5 trillion economy, and this is one part of it, that improving the infrastructure, especially in the cold storage sector, would enable to reach that target if we really make a strong attempt towards it. I'm sure the stakeholders can make an attempt in achieving this target. Take this opportunity to welcome all my colleagues, the delegates, the viewers, and also the faculty members who have joined me in this virtual program. Welcome you and all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mangreesh ji, for such a warm welcome you have extended to all our panelists, esteemed attendees, and each one of us. So, to take the program further, I would now request Ms. Jaya Jha from Merck's International. She's manager from Merck. So she's here to represent Merck's and her experience in the cold chain. Ms. Jaya Jha have been the part of Merck's for like 12 plus years, and part of referee sales within Merck's for more than 10 years. Key milestones by Ms. Jaya during her journey has been fresh fruit trial shipment of Kinu from Sonipat, mango from Lucknow, 1 mile cold chain solution from Paras Dairy, and start import of live refi into Sonipat. So I would like to request Ms. Jaya now to please extend her address.
Thank you, Utsav. Thank you for the introduction. And I would like to thank ASSOCHAM for giving this opportunity to present in this virtual conference. I have a presentation. So Utsav, if you can just allow me to share that.
Sure, ma'am. Also, I'll request you to please put on your video so that we all can see you there.
There is a network issue in
Okay,
my
okay,
area, so
not a problem.
because of bandwidth issue, that's the reason I have not switched it
Not
on.
a problem. Not a problem.
Yeah,
So yeah, I
thank
mean,
you.
actually, we want to have one screenshot of this session where we can present it on the government side. So for that, I was asking, not a problem now. Your
Okay.
video, your screen is coming. Your screen is visible now. You may start.
Yeah. Okay. So a warm welcome to everyone and thank you once again. So today I would like to share what Maersk Line is doing to ensure that the cold chain logistics is that we are providing to our farmers is uninterrupted and unbroken. So as Mangarish sir pointed out, yes, that's true. Even we have been in this industry for decades, and we have identified that there has been a lot of wastage that is happening, especially in the fresh produce segment. And so to ensure that we can minimize that, we are doing our bit. Maersk Line earlier was just a shipping company providing just ocean services, container, but now we have become global integrator of logistics, which means we are providing end-to-end service to all the customers, which means right from their farm to the fork. That means the end user, the end buyer. So, and we are providing this one-stop solution to all the exporters to ensure that the cold chain is unbroken and uninterrupted. So as you can see in this slide, Maersk has presence in almost all the states of this country, and we are dealing with fresh produce as well as frozen. So in frozen, if you can see that we handle meat out of North India, seafood from all the coastal belts, fresh produce from West India, because that is the from Nhava Sheva, that is the major portion from where fresh produce is being exported, pharmaceuticals from Baddi as well as from Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Gujarat. And we are also involved and working very closely with APEDA and to ensure that trade enablement, that is, promoting exports. So as Sir said earlier, that there a lot of wastage is happening in terms of export of fresh produce because the cold chain is getting broken. So to ensure that, what we are doing is we are providing a seamless cold chain solution, wherein from the pack house we are helping provide the logistics solution. We send the container right up to the pack house. We are also, we in Chennai, we have our own cold storage where we are providing cold storage opportunity. Trucking is done by us, custom clearance, inspection, ocean, and even the last mile, because Maersk has a global presence everywhere in the world. So, and we have a strength. So there at destination also, our destination colleagues is helping with transportation, custom clearance. We have cold storages in 6 to 7 countries, providing cold storage facilities there, as well as last mile delivery. This is going to give the exporters efficiency because they don't have to deal with multiple stakeholders, which they are doing right now. It is also giving a peace of mind because our system is completely transparent and we provide visibility. We also have a device called RCD, which is installed in each and every container of ours. It gives live monitoring of the temperature that is there inside the container. When we were discussing with farmers and exporters, even pharmaceutical exporters, so they always have a concern that the transporter, they switch off the genset, in the road transportation just to save the fuel cost, which especially for pharmaceutical, it can impact the cargo quality. And so some are life-saving drugs and, it can turn into poison, and they have been facing a lot of claims. So they have now really appreciated the service of ours. Why? Because from their laptop, sitting at their offices, they don't have to do anything. They just have to log into our website, into our Captain Peter, this device, and they can see what has been the temperature all about the journey. In case there has been a power switch off, this report shows it very clearly. Some of the customers where they have their own trailers, and now with this device they can see that the supply of power has been uninterrupted. they are now getting more revenue from their buyers because the quality is much better. So they have this assurance of the quality of their product. And this device is, connected with satellite, with our GPRS system. So it is live data that shows, even during the voyage time on ocean as well, right up to the time the cargo is taken delivery by the consignee at destination. Maersk also provides controlled atmospheric temperature equipment, which means, there are a lot of cargo, there are a lot of, I would say, fruits, wherein, they are highly perishable. The reason being their ripening process is very fast, and they release ethylene. So because of which they cannot sustain longer transit time. So for that, we provide controlled atmospheric temperature container, wherein we install ethylene filters, as well as the supply of carbon dioxide and other gases is very, I would in a very scientific and regulated manner, we provide that, which reduces the ripening process. It puts the fruit to sleep, and thereby they can sustain a longer transit, and it enhances the trade. So customers can do more and more export to longer European destination and long haul destination. So that is also one which we are providing. And taking that into consideration, and from the perspective of enhancing the exports, Maersk has been very actively involved and working very closely with government bodies. We have done static banana trial from South India just to see that if it can sustain the longer transit of say 30 days and it can go to Europe. We have done mango and chili export trials from Lucknow. From the pack house, we collected the cargo, we sent the containers there. We did the custom clearance, road transportation, and cargo reached destination very successfully. We have also done control atmosphere mango trial into UK, Felixstowe. The variety was Kesar and Badami. It was conducted in 2019, and that too was very successful. 2020, due to COVID, we could not do much of the trials, so it was very restricted. But we are very open to working with government bodies very closely and do more and more trials and provide our solution to the farmers so that we can enhance the trade. So that's all. If anyone has any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
So we have a question and answer session at the last of this session. So
Okay.
we'll look forward to that later on. Very much thank you, Jaya ji, for your address. So
Thank you.
Yeah. Now I request now Kiran Gubba ji, Shri Kiran Gubba, Director and CEO of Gubba Cold Storage Private Limited. Kiran Gubba ji has virtually become the face of Gubba to seeds and pharma industries, setting up India's first private sector dehumidified cold storage for seeds in 1998 has been his brainchild. His core competency in finance has fueled the company in setting up 17 cold storage plants, 0.7 million cubic feet to one of the India's biggest cold storage company with 10 million cubic feet. A person who believes in service to humanity is service to God. Assist in a very in an organization which makes a difference to people life. So over to you, Gubba sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let me also, by the way, how many minutes are you going to give me?
So it all depends on you, but we have an average time of like 10 to 15 minutes to deliver. I mean, whatever you.
Done. I'll quickly go ahead and put my PPT. You have my PPT or?
So we have already make you presenter, sir.
So can you put it?
We have shared the presenting rights with you. So now they are with you, sir.
I got it. So that's what. Can you put my PPT up there?
All right. You want me to put your PPT so that
yeah.
I request my IT team to please.
Okay. So in the meantime, I'll start off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm Gubba Kiran and I'm CEO of Gubba Cold Storage. And in terms of volume, we are one of the largest in the country with 1 crore 25 lakh cubic feet with 17 or 18 cold storage plants spread across 10 locations, mostly in Telangana and also in Aurangabad. And we are also proud that we are one of the first to launch out the COVID vaccine pharma compliant cold storage facility, a greenfield project with 6,500 pallets with three temperature zones of 2 to 8 degrees, -20 and 15 to 25 degrees. Probably the first and the finest in Telangana, one of the first and the finest in South India, and one of the finest in India too. So, yeah, a little about that. Yeah, next. Yeah, next. Yeah, this is how a typical external view, go back. Yeah, this is how a typical single level cold storage looks like. See, in India, if you look at, there are some 10,000 cold storage. If somebody is not on mute, I don't know if that person can go on mute, and thank you for that. Yeah, typically in India, there are 10,000 cold storages. 95% is unorganized. What is that unorganized means? Now, they do preserve products. They're not bad cold storages. They come from an unorganized sector. Now, but slowly in India, the unorganized sector is now getting into organized sector. Unorganized sector are the standalone cold storages where the temperature is maintained at 2 to 8 degrees and something like potato, carrot, spices, and etc. The organized sector, which are multi-temperature zones, which 2 to 8 degrees or say -20 and so on. Now, slowly India is moving towards that direction for multi-chamber cold storage facilities because that's the need of the hour. So today you can't 100% depend on potato or carrot or butter. Now, tomorrow, suddenly business prospects keep changing, and especially after COVID, we know how things are changing. So accordingly, we have to keep adapting ourselves, go for a multi-commodity such that all our eggs are not in one basket. So yeah, that's a little about it. And yeah, next. Yeah, this is the rack supported cold storage facility. It's a Euro pallet. This we have set up for seeds in Hyderabad. It's 1.5 ton each pallet, and it's a 4 level with 8 deep racking. And that is how today's new age cold storage facilities are coming up. Either it is for butter, chicken, or pharma, or ice cream, and so on. Now, if you look at the Indian palate has increased. Like if you go to the villages of little underdeveloped places, people used to eat less of fruits and vegetables in their day-to-day thali. And now today it has replaced. People have started eating rice. People have started eating more of fruits and vegetables. And that is how the khapat of fruits and vegetables have started increasing. And when that increases, the consumption increases, production increases, and also storage increases. If you look at 20 years minus you below, I mean backward, you didn't had apples from Washington or say Taiwan or New Zealand and so on. Today you have got. We were eating only when my bachpan mein jab Shimla or Kashmir ki apple hi khata tha. Now, 10 years ago, I did not know what was a dragon fruit. Today, dragon fruits are grown in India, and so on. Like I mean, if you just walk in, my head was saying only butter means Amul ka butter, and today you've got so many butter, so much of you've got yogurts, you've got French fries. There's so many things which have come up in the Indian plate. Now, all that needs preservation. All that needs preservation, like frozen parathas to frozen mirchi bhajis and so on. So the Indian living style is transforming, and when the lifestyle transforms, the consumption transforms, and when the consumption transforms, the supply chain also has to transform. And that is how the Indian cold storage industry has started transforming itself. Next. Next. The host, yeah, thanks. This is a 2-ton jumbo bag. Seed is stored in this facility, in this jumbo bag. Loose seed stored kiya jata hai, and it's known as a block stacking because stack के ऊपर stack है. Typical थप्पी जो मतलब 50 किलो का बोरा होता है, वो शायद 10-12 मतलब थप्पियाँ डालते हैं. यहाँ पे 3 बोरे डालते हैं, and it's 2 tons. It's like a 10,000 ton cold storage facility is managed by some 5 to 10 people. Next. Next. Yeah, this is a 1.5 ton jumbo bag. Next. Again, this is a single floor 2 ton jumbo bag facility. That's a MHE forklift आमतौर पे बोलते हैं, and it's battery operated. Being a cold storage, you can't go for a fuel based forklifts, and this is single floor, close to 10,000 tons of capacity. Next. Yeah, you need to have an accurate inventory management. Next. Yeah, I mean, if you need to serve clients, now organized clients especially, you need to have an accurate inventory management system. You can't have an Excel sheet management. Everything has to be ERP based, online based. So at a click of a button, the client should know what is there in the cold storage, whether it is first in, first out, first expiry, first out, bag wise, truck wise. I don't know. You need to create a system, a robust system. Next. Yeah, you need to also audit the clients such as to ensure that the product is safe. Now, the client sends, say, 50 trucks of, I don't know, maybe some 10,000 cases of apples. Now, you need to have a robust system to ensure that truck-wise inventory is maintained and the audit is done, and such that every apple box is safe and sound. That robust system has to be created by the cold storage industry to give value addition to the people, to the fruit and food industry or the vegetable industry. And of course, we do that in Gubba. Next. Yeah, these are all the various reports we give. Like whenever there's a truck movement comes, the concerned person or the client will get an SMS or a WhatsApp, then an email of all the details, like how many boxes, truck number, and so on. Then a day report of say 3 trucks in, 4 trucks out. Then a monthly report of a stock inventory report, and then a weekly report. So see, the client is busy doing his business. The ice cream guy is busy selling ice cream, the fruit guy is selling fruits, or the farmer guy is farmer. We, the cold storage industry, have to keep thinking how we can add value to the whole supply chain of the client. And that is where value addition lies. Yep. In fact, I keep telling to the industry, now, start getting into the shoes of the client. Start looking at what is needed for him, what is desired for him. Start listening. We people, we don't listen. We want to talk. Especially in the sales, when you're in sales, you want to talk. Hey, I talk and you listen. But no, start listening. What does the client want? Now, the client wants a corn soup with a zucchini. Do that, because that is what inspires client. He wants to have a roti with a chai. They don't know. आपको क्या पैसे वो दे रहा है आपको. So do what's needed for the client, and that is where the value addition lies. Every product is different. Don't mix products. If you are setting up a cold storage facility, don't just blindly go for ASRS. No. If your product demands a 2 deep racking, go for it. If your product demands 8 deep multi-deep or a 10 deep multi-deep racking, go for it. If your cold storage demands to be a partial walk-in cold rooms and a partial rack supported, go in. Don't just ape what is there in the industry. Do a complete research. Do what do you call haath gande karo, and that's where the value lies. Now, as the farmers' income to be doubled, Narendra Modi's, Honorable Prime Minister's vision of doubling the farmers' income, all that will not come easy. Even the cold storage industry has to go hand in glove in fulfilling what's needed. Now, a tomato is grown. Now, next, a ketchup is created. Now, the valuation is a tomato ketchup. Now, do you have a cold storage facility or a processing facility to convert the tomatoes to a ketchup and then to store the ketchup? Now, if it's short-term storage or long-term storage, now a fish is stored at -20 also and 2 to 8 also. If it's a 6 months, it can be stored at -20. If it's a 15 days, it is stored in 2 to 8. So now you need to back up your expertise. You need to back up your infrastructure to what's needed for the trade. And the trade will do the doubling the income for the farmer. Yep. Next. Yeah, temperature mapping is also important, because to ensure that 10,000 tons of say pharma is stored or potato is stored, every ton is getting the uniform temperature. Else, those hot zones products get perished. These things are all value addition. ये आपको मतलब टकराते रहते हैं. So you have to be agile with such systems. Next. Yeah, next. The thermal tracking, the naked eye view and then the thermal camera view. So that is how it looks now. Because insulating properties decay होते रहते हैं, मतलब कभी चूहा मतलब थर्मोकोल को काट लेता है या इम्पैक्ट डैमेज होता है, फोकलिफ्ट धक्का देता है पैनल को, पैनल विल गो आउट, वेयर एंड टेयर होती है, जॉइंट्स में मतलब गैप्स आती है. So through all that the hot air penetrates, the hot temperature penetrates. Now with thermal tracking system you can able to track and ensure that all the 10,000 tons of the product is getting the even temperature. It's advisable to do temperature tracking at least once a year. Utsav, is my voice clear?
Yes, you're
This is clear.
Thank you. Next. Yeah, real-time access of temperature. Now, at a click of a button, the client should know what's the temperature out there. Now, he will have all the comfort, all the trust when you give that, and it's not easy. दिवाली के दिन रात को भी आपको 9 बजे टेम्परेचर मतलब आपको फिर टेम्परेचर मेंटेन करनी पड़ती है. लोग फटाके फोड़ते रहते हैं, but still you have to maintain the temperature. Not easy. Not easy for the cold storage industry. It's like having an ICU patient always 365 days. Yeah, यहाँ पे प्रोडक्ट बोलता नहीं है मगर वहाँ पे पेशेंट बात करता है, फर्क उतना ही है. इसमें we are no less than the hospital. I'm not negating what hospitals do. It's much more critical, but even a cold storage is critical too. Imagine you don't maintain a temperature properly. For apple, it decays. Simple, nothing else. The ice cream turns into fluffy. Next. Yeah, that's how you can check your temperature in a phone app. Next. We also have a rodent and pest control in place. Right? It's always advisable to have some system, some mechanism, either in-house or outsourced, to ensure that your product is not impacted by rodents, chuva, or pests. Next. Yeah, physical inspection is mandatory when you unload a truck. Don't just, I don't know, rotten apples might get into it and spoil the other boxes. You never know. Next. Yeah, you need to have certifications to that will allow the system to work. The certifications will allow the system to work. It's like things will become a system-driven company, an SOPs-driven company. So certifications are important. Next. Yeah, it's advisable to have a GDP, WHO GDP guidelines. So that will teach you how to preserve various products. Cleanliness will improve, culture will improve, SOPs will increase, systems will get into place. Next. Yeah, bringing safety culture, safety for infrastructure, safety for people, safety for products. Yeah, bring in that culture. हम helmet पुलिस चलान के लिए नहीं पहनना है, अपनी हेड की सेफ्टी के लिए मतलब हेलमेट पहनना है. सीट बेल्ट not to avoid 100 rupees challan, for your safety, because family is back up there. Yeah. Next. Thank you. Good. Okay, by the way, I have taken 14 minutes.
Very, very wonderful.
Thanks ASSOCHAM and for giving this opportunity. And thanks a lot.
In fact, thanks to you, sir, for explaining each and every component in detail and giving us so much of brief about everything. And thanks to you, sir, for your time, sir. So yeah, next I request Shri Rajesh Goyal ji, the president of Federation of Cold Chain Storage Association of India. Shri Rajesh ji has established GT Cold Storage Private Limited at Agra for vegetables, majorly potatoes, in 1999. Rajesh ji has completed 20 years of expertise in directing cold chain business and operations. He has been inspirational, collaborative, and has initiated a variety of visionary ideas for the development of Indian cold chain sector. He has also tenaciously served to unite all the cold chain storage associations throughout the nation and bringing them on a common platform. He has worked for the upliftment of the cold chain sector by contributing in organizing international level interactions, technological exchange, and training and development programs on regular intervals all year round to enhance the cold chain scenario. A very warm welcome to Rajesh ji, and I now request you to please address our cold chain industry today.
Thank you, Utsavji, and thank you, ASSOCHAM, for organizing such an important webinar. Now, as I am also a cold storage owner, as well as now representing the Federation of Cold Storage Associations of India. Our federation comprises of state associations. Now 16 states are our members, and we are just trying to increase our membership all throughout the nationwide, so that maximum people and maximum cold storage owners get united and then connected. Because now connection and the communications, these are now the basic requirements of now to run a business, any business. We now require the best of communication and coordinations. So for that, now we are organizing every year. We are organizing seminars, meetings all over pan India basis, mainly in Agra, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad. We go everywhere twice or once a year, and then we organize seminars and connect people there. And that has given a strength to our federation also and to our members also. As far as technology is concerned, the infrastructure is concerned, capacity building is there. Now we people have got the idea where to build the new cold chain, no new cold storages, because they now know where where is the need of what is the need of the hour and where to go. Some places we experience that there is a saturation point, and where there is no need for a storage. So people have now, after discussing with others, have come to know about the actual places where the cold storages are required. And now cold storages are now turning into cold chains, which is now comprising of the from this totally unorganized sector to the organized sector. Now when we connect farmer to the organized logistics or the processing people, it's a total turnout, because we experience and we are semi-organized cold storages. So we are the connecting people for the farmers, and the integral part is that the processing and the logistic people. What we need is the proper coordination among ourselves. What we need now is the proper communication, so that the best we can come out with the best of the results. So that, because when the entire chain is completed, then we can come out with what the government is requiring, how can the farmers' income can be doubled, and how the cold storage and cold chain can be sustained in that area, and the development goes on. That all depends upon now the coordination between amongst all the cold chain people. And government should also, as a should look in us and with the bankers and the financial institutions and all the technological backups, so that the seminars and the webinars and the important aspects of technology, what the people now require. Because as far as cold storages are there, we have both in backward linkages and the forward linkages. We require both of them. So we require the best of knowledges to get connected to the farmers also, farms also, and then to the processing and the grading people and the logistics people also. For that, our federation has a great role to play. And as a state association leader and as a federation point of view, we are now, as a 2020, we were only meeting virtually and doing webinars only. Now, as in 2021, we expect, and now in the mid-June, we are organizing a big seminar and exhibition in Agra now as a center point, and then we'll be moving to Mumbai later in the year, so that we again, where we have left, we start again from where we have left last year, 2019, and come out with the people are now in the lockdown period have experienced something new, and that they have now want to change their cold storage into a cold chain, uh, and they are now developing themselves. They are upgrading their cold storages. They're doing some capacity building of some modern techniques with controlled atmosphere and modified atmosphere. Mr. Kubba Kiran has mentioned in his speech, and they are leaders in these lines. They are doing every new uh, things in the cold storage line with pharma and seeds, all the things. So people are following them, people are listening to them, and so we require more of such type of people so that our members get benefited by them, and some traditional and conventional methods get now are getting very old, and so people want to change themselves, and they are want to come up with the new techniques. With companies are also, and some multinational companies and national companies are also interested in uh, having some spaces in the cold storages for their products which we never expected that they will be kept in the cold storages. So the vegetables, and starting from the vegetables, and mainly the tomato, onion, potato. Now we are converting them to some new products with the help of the logistics also. So everything is now depending on the now how we accept and how we adapt now for modern conditions, and what help we get from the government. And the government should also come up with some ground realities working, so that the farmers to the processing line gets really benefited. So by budgets and by the relief packages, we should be really be benefited, not only on the paperwork, but the real work should now come up. And technology, we are talking to many embassies, and many foreign countries are also coming up. European countries are there, and now our federation is getting invitations from various countries. Now we are also building up Asian Pacific Cold Chain Federation, in which Korea, China, Indonesia, Malaysia, Australia, Nepal, Bangladesh, 8 to 9 countries have already accepted our invitation, and now we have been meeting once or twice a year. We from in 2018 and 2019, we we failed to meet in 2020. Now 2021 we will be meeting later this year. So the people are coming from these countries, and they are inviting us also to their countries for the participation in their cold chain exhibitions and seminars. So technology is also getting paced up, and we expect some better capacity building, and with better technologies and better work in the 2021, and with the help of all the financial institutions, banking, and the government, and also the uh, associations, which is the national associations like ASSOCHAM. We expect that we can do better this year and come up with good results. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rajesh ji, for detailing us with every minute aspect of the cold chain industry and the current situation which India is facing. So I would like to thank Rajesh ji for your address. Now I request Shri Saru Bose ji, who is representing the Celsius. He is the CEO of Celsius Logistics Solution Private Limited. With 18 plus years of experience in managing and engaging the complete cold chain network, manufacturer and an entrepreneur with in deep knowledge and expertise of all things in cold chain sector. I request Shri Swaroop ji to please address this cold chain industry at ASSOCHAM. Please, sir.
Hi, Utsav.
Hi, hello, sir.
So I've been listening very intently to all the participants.
Yeah, sir, I request you to please be a bit louder because your voice is.
Is this better? Hello.
Yeah, better, sir.
I've been intently listening to all the panelists, and it's been a very informative session. I have a small presentation that I want to give about what I am doing with Celsius and how we are going ahead with enhancing the cold chain network of India. Could give me the sharing privileges. I'll share the presentation I have.
Sure, sir. I request my IT team to please share the presenting rights with Swaroop ji. You are the presenter now, sir.
Uh, Sorry, my sharing has not.
The option is there, sir. The option is there at the bottom.
Yeah.
Share button, right?
Prove it. Um, I'll have to quit and reopen if I need to share. Forget it. Do the presentation. I'll go ahead with, I'll explain what Celsius does. Celsius Logistics Solutions Private Limited, basically a network that I have created.
Sir, I am very sorry. I am interrupting, but your voice is very low, sir. We cannot hear you.
Oh, do one thing. Just let
Now
me
it is okay.
log
Now it
out
is
and
okay. You need
now?
to put hold
Okay.
the mic, sir.
Okay. Celsius Logistics Solutions Private Limited is a network that I have created. I'm the founder and CEO of the company. What it basically does is we have created a SaaS-based platform, a software as a service. In that platform, we have got an online web platform and a Android application. This web platform and application basically connects the complete cold chain network. We have got a platform where the transporters, the reefer transporters, cold storage owners, the manufacturers, the agrotech startups, agriculture, the direct farmers, they all can log in and access the whole network. The network is built in such a way that any inquiry which is put on the network is directly passed on to the relevant transporters, the relevant cold storage owners, and because of this, they are able to connect with any party throughout India. Today, the problem with the cold chain solution of India is that it's a very fragmented and unorganized sector, as my other panelists have already mentioned. Being fragmented, what we need is a central database which connects the complete network together, which the president of the Cold Chain Federation is also trying with the whole networking throughout the states and having chapters in states which would report to a central panel. What I'm trying to do with Celsius is we are trying to connect each entity in every city, whether it be tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 cities, where a cold storage is present, a transporter is present with vehicles, but he's unable to connect with the other entities in the other states. So Celsius Logistics Solutions, via its software platform, enables the transporters to get in touch with other key players, manufacturers in other states from where he can take a return load. A manufacturer can connect to n number of cold storages all over India, where they are able to book the space online, they are able to monitor it online, have integrated complete GPS and live temperature tracking of every vehicle and cold storages via API reverse integration onto a platform. So what happens is a client who's trying to hire, say, 10 different transporters from the market is able to access the complete solution online. This has become a big boon for us during the COVID situation because, as everyone knows, government has launched the CoWIN platform. Now, one of the major problems with the CoWIN platform was traceability and trackability of the whole vaccine movement, right from the manufacturer's hub to the state storages, to the district storages, and to the last mile. CoWIN platform by default does not have a built-in application which allows them to monitor the product while it is in transit, while it changes hands, and the moment it reaches the last mile. So with our platform, we have given that offer to the government also, where this platform can be integrated back into the CoWIN platform, and they will be able to monitor the whole network. What we are trying to do is we are trying to reduce the pricing which is associated with the whole cold chain, especially the reefer vehicles. One of the main reasons that fresh vegetable producers, farmers, they don't hire reefer vehicles is obviously because availability issue is there. And second, when they do get a vehicle, the vehicles are pretty expensive to hire as compared to a dry vehicle. But the moment they put their vegetables, fresh produce in a dry vehicle, on the transit, most of the products are already dried out. The shelf life comes down. By the time it reaches the AMC markets or the subsidy mandis, the shelf life, which should have been able to sustain for 7 days, reduces to 2 or 3 days at maximum. That is the reason we see a huge amount of wastage which happens when it comes to vegetables, fresh fruits, or any other fresh produce. Uh, when Manmohan Singh ji was Prime Minister, at that time there was a big study done where world over we came to know that $1.3 trillion worth of wastage was happening in India. That number shocked all of us. We are a country of farmers. Agriculture is one of our main lines of business for years, and still don't have a robust cold chain network which will support directly the whole movement of agriculture and the farmers. Industries like MOFPI have been doing a great job in propagating and promoting the whole cold chain movement. But still, there is a huge network which is being missed out by the whole industry because there is no central database. Looking at that problem, we launched Celsius Logistics Solutions, where we have onboarded more than 3,000 trucks right now, reefer trucks, which are live on our platform. We have onboarded many cold storages, almost 75 cold storages all yeah. In fact, Goba Cold Storage is one of our premium cold storages for pharma distribution in Hyderabad. We have had a lot of discussions with Kiran Gubbaji, taken a lot of input from him, how to develop the platform, how to make it more resilient towards the changes in the market. And it's still an evolving platform. But what we are hoping to do is in the future be a network which anybody in India can access as long as they need a cold chain solution. It's a complete asset light program. Involve ourselves in purchasing any assets. We are just a network who's connecting all the people, all the key players in it, help the transporters and the smaller cold storage owners to upgrade themselves. If it's with pharma, how to become GDP compliant, what are the proper certifications required. If it's a transporter, we help them install the proper IoTs, the proper sensors, whether it be thermal sensors inside the container, GPS sensors, door opening sensors. With the vaccine movement, seen a huge shift of transporters wanting more and more technology which would be acceptable in their which they want to integrate with their fleet. Technologies like door opening sensors, which would stop thefts of they can monitor the complete consignment from point A to point B and see any kind of problems that might come up. If the doors are opened anywhere, they immediately get responses on their mobile app or on their emails. These kind of technologies which are widely available throughout the world but are not accessible by our people in tier 2, tier 3 cities, Celsius is trying to upgrade them also. Basically, we try to make a complete network with the latest technologies, connecting the cold storage guys, connecting the reefer transportation guys, connecting the farmers, the agrotech startups, the hydroponic startups, people who are trying to bring more organic farming into them. That's the kind of network we are trying to build. I hope you'll be seeing more of us in the future. I'll be available for question and answers at the end of the session.
Many thanks, sir, for your address. Somebody's unmuted. So I request IT team to please mute everyone. Many thanks, sir, for your address. And it is our pleasure to have you with us in between us. So now, starting with the question and answer round, we have one question coming from the NABARD, who people have attended the session from NABARD. So they have raised that what are the loopholes rising significantly in terms of the cold chain industry. So I want Ms. Jaya to please answer this. Am I audible, Ms. Jaya?
Sorry, if you could just repeat the question once again.
The question is what sort of loopholes which you have facing, which you have been facing, and which are rising in this COVID period and the current period significantly to this cold chain industry. So the loopholes we are looking forward to.
Yeah, yeah. So during COVID, a lot of migrant workers, they had moved back to their respective villages. So the exporters, they faced a lot of problem in terms of packaging, even transportation, finding of drivers, and that has impacted exports. But slowly, when the market opened up and people returned back to work, things have improved a lot. Situation has improved. We have long-term contracts with our vendors. So to customers, exporters, wherein we had offered them first mile logistics, we ensured that we provide them with the service that was promised. And that's the reason our business, in fact, grew during the COVID period in terms of exports. So it wasn't an impact for us. But overall in the market, yes, there was an impact, definitely. I hope I answered your question, Utsav.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much for answering this. Next is, Sri Pamarthi Venkataramanaji. So he's one of our profound speaker and a very valuable member to SOCHAM. So I request Sri Pamarthi Venkataramanaji. Before proceeding, let me introduce him. He is the international corporate lawyer, business strategist, and chief PVR laws. He is an international corporate lawyer from New Delhi, India, as life member of Supreme Court Bar Association. He is the recipient of many awards such as Sir Aladi Kupuswamy Memorial Trust for being Best Young Lawyer Award, the Edward Kennedy Memorial International Award for Lifetime Achievement in Medicine and Law, and such other world bodies. His expertise in the area of FDI, international collaborations, technical and financial multinational trade. He is a host of multinational banks, financial institutions, overseas corporate bodies, MNCs, etc. With a wide spectrum of areas requiring expertise, legal opinion over the last 25 years. And I'm really very surprised that he, as a person, is a very vibrant in things. So he's a poet, a writer, and whatnot. So I would like to invite him to share his thoughts on the recent scenario of cold chain industry in this COVID-19 times, and sort of things which he thinks that that should be improved in taking COVID, the cold chain industry at global level from India. Over to you, Pamarthi sir.
Thank you, Utsav, and thank you, Asukan. It's a pleasure listening to all these stalwarts in the industry in our country as on date. But let me remind all of us, as well as the viewers, that a cold chain is only as strong as its weakest link. A cold chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So therefore, it attains paramount importance. In order to ensure that it is successful, we must not be focusing or praising only the praiseworthy, commendable services being rendered by the private sector in this industry, in this country. We all know that India has been making enormous strides over the last 7 years in particular, with a changed scenario, changed policy making, and a changed vision. So unless and until we keep changing and upgrading our vision, we will be back before the late Prime Minister Narasimha Rao ji opened up the economy. But still, although today we are speaking of a 5 trillion economy, as our Honorable Chairman of the chapter, the Council has pointed out, we are still thinking in terms of cold chain being only vegetables, fruits, and fish. We are not a land of fish and chips like some other countries. However, those which were considered as small island countries having only fish and chips to sell or provide are the most advanced in the world today as far as cold chain system is concerned. We know England in particular, United Kingdom, and the rest of Europe are far more advanced than us. How do we catch up with them? How do we cope up with them? This should be our thought today. Because after 2019 COVID 2019, as we all say, after this mishap which happened last year and the year that was not 2020, we must start thinking in terms of having a cold chain system more for vaccinations, pharmacology, I mean, the vaccinations and the delivery system, which has to be set up and established by the respective governments, the different governments, under the flagship of the central government of India. In this direction, it is happy to note that the Honorable Chief Minister of Goa has been very, very, what should we say, advanced in terms of catching up with the latest technology, the latest meaning and translation of the term cold chain systems. He has been making enough provisions, although it is one of the smallest states of the country. It is one of the most vibrant, enormous, energetic, dynamic, and well-equipped states in the country, thanks to our nodal organizations throughout the state government and the state machinery. It is one of the most advanced states in the country today, as far as vaccination delivery system is concerned. As all our eminent speakers have pointed out, the most vital parts, components of this entire project system delivery chain is, number one, the safety. Once you ensure safety, your timing is important, delivery systems, and the temperature throughout and during the journey, during the travel period, is of paramount importance. And we now have all the GPS and RFID technology to catch up and ensure that there is no laxity in terms of, as one of our learned speakers pointed out, the truck driver switching off the system or something else. So there is no sabotage. And as far as vaccination is concerned, I think we should first focus and address ourselves towards a cold chain system to be developed in a more enhanced manner, in a more robust manner in this country, because that is the need of the hour. Fruits, vegetables, fish are in any manner catered to by the established operators in this sector in our country. And there is a scope for many other people to come with changing policies. Not many people outside the industry of cold chain must have heard of cold storage subsidy, which the government has announced. This sort of know-how has to be, information has to be disseminated to all levels. People are speaking of farm laws, they're speaking of agriculture, they're speaking of agricultural produce, they're speaking of biotechnology, they're speaking of organic farming, but nobody seems to be aware of a specific cold storage subsidy being made available to all the desirous entrepreneurs, the new ones who would like to join up with all the bigwigs whom we have just spoken to and many others in this country. So what is important firstly is we have to push for a more enabling environment. What is an enabling environment? People must not have a mental block that X, Y, Z are the giants in the field. They will not allow us to go. No, they are pioneers. They have done well. They have grown. They have become titans. But at the same time, the new ones must be welcomed by these established operators and players and ask them to pitch or join them and collaborate along with them as satellite bodies or satellite entities, so that it all grows up into an umbrella organization and we have a huge network. One of the most important projects, ambitious projects, which our country under leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji and Amit Shah ji has been not the bullet train, mind you, you're smiling there. It is about the high elevated corridor for freight transport. What happens is we have got people, friendly countries like Japan, Mitsubishi, which are all the best in the world, who are in elevated freight corridor system. We can easily have elevated corridor system where high-speed trains operate above the national highways or the corridor or the other tracks of trains. And this will ensure that we are delivering in no time. And more importantly, we must also outgrow the thought that cold storage would only means exporting to European countries or the Russian Federation or to Australia down south. It's not so. It must start from within the country. And even to enable greater profits for the established cold storage units, India could, for example, with the Organization of African Unity, tie up and tell them, you've got enormous surplus lands, idle lands. We will send you seeds, supply you seeds free of cost. You please grow them, cultivate at no price, no cost to you, and send back 10% of the produce to our country. And we will also tie up a forward price, say for the next 30 years. This will be the constant price. This will be the plant which you will be growing, and this will be the output. This will be the produce. And we can always establish through networks like our SARC, which we have been working over the last few years, trying to make it a more robust, dynamic one. Although BRICS hasn't really taken off in this direction. SARC countries, or Organization of African Unity, we will set up our own cold storage units or look at different locations across the world, using our diplomatic channels and our friendly association with all these countries. And also, of course, not disregarding the stellar contribution made by the private cold storage operators, whose association has also been represented today by a very eminent personality. And likewise, all this can be done. And public-private partnership initiatives should not be restricted or confined only to a person who is availing the benefit and has grown and has become a giant. It must be made available to all the people across the sections of the society, across the rural and urban areas of this country, and only then will it have a meaningful purpose. Having said about fruits, vegetables, fish, NABARD should also consider, under directions from the RBI and the Government of India, Ministry of Finance, of course, enabling commercial banks, government banks, private banks, or others to fund new entrepreneurs for setting up of vaccination storage units or distribution systems. It can be transportation, it can be security, or it can be specific storage, because we know under this we have got different levels of, we are having different levels of passing on the vaccination from the point of manufacture to the end user. And as we all know, perhaps there may be a normal wastage, as we all are aware, and as the predecessors have pointed out, there is a wastage. It has been happening, it will happen, be it coal, be it food items, be it vegetables, be it fruits. But every vial counts, and every vial is a life, and a life cannot be wasted. So therefore, every vial is precious. What is the temperature at which it is stored? Which are the technologies which we have to utilize? And how best can we create hubs for a smooth delivery system? Because the media channels are just reporters. They're not technocrats, they're not thinkers, they're not policymakers, nor are they the ones who are going to defend in case there's a dispute for any of the entrepreneur or any of the receivers, because they only report. So we should not go by what is hearsay or what is within single quotes propaganda or information material. One should know that there's a lot of technology involved in how it is stored, how the transportation system works, how they become accountable, how they become liable. Vaccinations take the main core of attention, both for the government of India, government of Goa, as well as the rest of the world today. So we need to have a very, very robust supply chain system. We must ensure that there is a push for a better enabling environment, and rigorous regulatory procedures must be enforced. There must not be any laxity anywhere. Nobody should play foul, tinker, or be negligent. Criminal negligence must be punished straight away. There must not be any due process of law, and there must be a strict action taken on par with, let's say, an anti-national activity. So these sort of changes in the legal system and the legal mechanism are important, and only then such a complex and atypical system as a vaccination distribution under a cold chain system can be addressed happily and properly. Having said this, coming back to where the sites and vaccination locations are determined, one can always try to mold and change the existing system of, let's say, industrial banking, finance, recovery, or the so-called debt recovery tribunal systems. What we can do is, say, for example, XYZ airline company has collapsed. So it is a matter being agitated before the courts of law. Why should we keep all those aeroplanes idle? The government can always take it with permission from the court and use it to transport all these vaccination boxes across the world, not just India. Likewise, there are several industrial units which are shut down and they're all facing. Once upon a time, there must have been small steel units or some other unit. These can be taken over by the government concerned. Goa is a very, very ideal state rather, because they have got a lot of idle capacity in the form of such shutdown factories. These can be utilized by the government with the permission of the court of law, that pending the disposal of the matter and whatever, let the government utilize this in association or in collaboration or even in isolation on their own, and use them as additional extra storage capacities. Unless we have some sort of an out-of-box thinking, and unless we do this sort of an innovative thinking, we cannot but only continue to keep watching the graph, the figures, and successive managers or successive managements speaking about how we have not grown and why we are stuck. And here there's another important point as far as technology is concerned. India is having one of the most successful, strongest scientific industrial research organizations called the CSIR. The Council of Scientific and Industrial Research has got wonderful units, both starting from food processing, biotechnology, aromatic plants, medicinal plants, be it at Mysore, be it at Lucknow, be it at Jorhat, be it at Bhubaneswar, be it at Jammu. They have got wonderful, specific, research-oriented developments happening every single year. The government is funding. They are doing a lot of pioneer research, and we got successful things. But these are not getting translated. They're not reaching out to the end users or the prospective entrepreneurs of our country, or even the existing state governments. So this cobweb should be removed, and there must be a positive, productive, and useful redressal of the deficit targets in the cold chain industry of this country. Having said this, it is also important to point out and to note that logistics and distribution is not only about innovative transport or temperature monitoring systems. It is not only about those solutions. It is also not only about temperature or humidity. It is also more importantly about core competence, about the set objectives, and even more importantly, we often find that many of these entrepreneurs who are successful and established also have been forced to cope with a lot of enormous wasteful, time-wasting litigation. They should utilize legal help more as a hand-holding exercise rather than a save me or a lifeboat exercise. So therefore, a little bit of prospective futuristic thinking by the entrepreneurs would also help and enable us to check this litigation. For instance, arbitration, international arbitration is one of the core area where we have this cold chain people having a lot of problems. And luckily for us in India, although we do have a very strong and defined legal system, the advent of arbitration into various other laws has increased issues of arbitrability of certain subject matters. The IPR, which is so fancied nowadays, intellectual property rights. This is a topic which many have missed out, including in the government of India and the private sector. For instance, only last year, very recently, the Madras High Court came out with a judgment in a matter called Sanjay Lalwani versus Geostar Enterprises, where it has recognized that matters of IPR are de facto not arbitrable. What are the implications on a cold chain system? How does this apply to us? How do we go ahead overriding all this? These are the various factors which have to be factored into any new policy which is emerging by the government of India, the government of Goa, any other state government of the country. As I said again, cold storage, dry storage, purchase, rentals, lease agreements, tortious claims, fraud. These are all commonplace incidents which are the scars on the face of the cold chain industry. These can be removed, these must be erased, and only then technology can be uniform in relative terms, but the policies, procedures, and implementation, including distribution, will ensure successful operations. There must be a steady, uniform rule, practice, code of conduct, and no private federation or no private organization can try to dictate terms to the government of India or any state government. Rather, they must try to sail and rise and fly high under the umbrella of the central government and the defined laws of the country. This, I feel, is what needs to be addressed in addition to and away from what our learned eminent speakers have already said. Thank you so much, Asokam, and thank you all.
Thank you
you,
so
sir.
much. Thank you so much, Venkataramana sir, for sharing such a wonderful address where you, told everything from the investment perspective to the current scenario which is being there in the cold chain industry. So now we have a question coming up from the audience. So they want to, know us more. They want to know more about investment in terms of, future of cold chain in India, where how FDI and other new players are coming, and what will be the new future or the new brand new packaging of cold chain in India in coming years. So, sir, please enlighten us, sir.
Is it for me?
Yeah, it is for you.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that's one point. I'm sorry I missed out, thinking that I'm running out of time for all of you. So FTA is available. It is available in abundance and plenty for those who really want to avail the benefits of it. The government of India has also been always been patronizing the cold chain industry right from day one, right from the time SCPZs and all these were formulated and cold chain storage incentives were given, subsidies were given, loans were given, banks have patronized. Our NABARD has also recognized and played a stellar role in the upliftment and growth of this industry in our country. As far as FDI is concerned, rest assured, it is abundant in plenty, and India is one of the most positive destination countries for these investments. And here again, I may hasten to add that please do not be carried away by the top A, B, C, X, Y, Z ones whom you see in the media. Do your research, catch hold of the right FDA specialists or corporate lawyers, for instance, who are aware or well-versed or who are known and who are sitting as custodians like ourselves over certain funds for investment as foreign direct investment to become an impetus not only to the cold storage industry, but also to all the ancillary units attached to this. So rest assured, it is available, but do not go only to government sites or private bodies. Do your research, tie up, and then you'll be able to hatch on to like-minded investors. There is the money, it is for us to do. And likewise, as a supplementary addition to this, to set at rest any doubts which may surface, please understand, cold storage units or industries of India cannot be confined, need not be confined only to Goa or any other part of this country. We are a country which is enjoying enormous esteem thanks to the Honorable Prime Minister's initiative over the last few years. And we can always set up subsidiary units and holding units overseas or any other legal mechanism be adopted. There are several legal engineering methods which can be done to ensure that there is no violation, there is no violation, yet at the same time you are making the best of both the worlds, literally speaking. All the best.
So my question now is to Shri Kiran Gubbaji, if he can hear me, Shri Kiran Gubbaji. So the question is the role of cold chain. How important was the role of cold chain in storing the vaccines which which arrived in India or were made in India for storage and all. So if he can hear me, he can answer it. I guess there is some technical problem. Do we have Sarup sir with us? Sarup ji?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sir, the question for you is how do you see how do you, as per you, I mean, what is the ideal roadmap to uplift the cold chain industry, where industry has already been impacted with the huge heavy losses under the current COVID situation. So, what is the ideal roadmap which you would like to suggest to the government of India and NABARD, specifically in terms of cold chain upliftment, sir?
See, the thing is, Government of India, NABARD, MOF, other entities have been doing an excellent job in promoting storages, the whole complete cold chain solution. What I would say is what they're missing out on is the marketing perspective of it. There are many subsidies available. There are many methods you can optimize making a cold storage. The problem is people don't know about it. Even key players in the market, they are not in touch with the right people who can offer them good advice on how to make a cold storages, how to avail of the proper subsidies, how to optimize and which area to make. There are certain areas where you can put up a cold storage, get more subsidies out of it. And India being a country where we have a massive population, almost any place which is available for a storage building will always be used. The way ahead is obviously more and more people getting involved in the cold chain with proper facilities, proper networking, them coming onto a platform where they can talk to each other, them government of India connecting with these people more. The government of India can come up with a platform where more of these sessions can happen with the key players. People can be involved. Like Narendra Modi ji is pretty good at marketing himself. He his all his schemes are done with a proper. So the government puts up proper advertisements, proper methods, using media in a proper way is a very good thing that the government does, so that their schemes can reach the people. But these are schemes which are meant for the masses. It's not a target specific scheme like the cold chain industry. So this is one area which can be explored where government of India can target the people and disseminate more information about the cold chain via media, so that people who are in the dry logistics sector also can get into our cold chain logistics. People who have warehouses, we have massive number of warehouses in India, but lesser number of cold storages. These dry warehouses can be converted to cold storages with minimum funds required, and I'm sure there are subsidies available for that also. But like I tell you, I've been talking to a few people. They have a very less idea about how to avail of the subsidy, and then the biggest thing is कि subsidy मिलता नहीं है. बहुत time लगता है, paperwork is very high. We have to follow up a lot. These are the obstructions. The day the government is able to remove these and a more direct platform, that is the day the cold chain in India takes a turn for the future.
Right, sir. So, coming towards the closing of this session, one question, and then we can have the vote of thanks from Mangrish ji. So, Mangrish ji, as you have been, closely working with the government of Goa since ages, and you have been, working in the segments, various segments from logistics to, packaging and everything. So, any sort of recommendations which you want to give to the cold chain and suggestions in sort of, uplifting the sector and something to specifically to uprising to make uprise this industry in a very vibrant manner in coming years. Mangrish ji.
It is actually a very important factor, हम जो बोलते हैं ना वो बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट कड़ी होती है पूरे चेन में, जो लॉजिस्टिक का चेन होता है. And especially in this segment, I would like to make a mention that Goa is blessed with port, airport, railway, and road network, which is a very ideal thing to improve and to promote logistics in the country. Goa can be an important center as far as the logistics is concerned. And the western side, that is right from Kolhapur to down below Belgaum and Hubli, Dharwad, the important the destination for exports is Goa. And with new airport which is coming up, which is going to be the commercial airport at Mopa, this would be a very ideal thing to start the cold chain network in this area. And as such, NABARD has been promoting cold chain to be installed in the state of Goa. So there is a lot of opportunity for investments for the new investors, I would say. The existing investors with experience and exposure to start their ventures in the state. And not only that, Goa has got abundant catch of fish, which has to be taken to the nearby state for processing. And this is the need is only because there is no proper cold storage or cold chain availability in the state of Goa. So I'm sure that with this today's virtual conference, that people would look at Goa as a probable destination for investments in for especially this segment. And I'm sure not only for fish but also for horticulture producers, because we believe that the entire Middle East is fed from these areas, especially from Belgaum, Hubli, Dharwad, Shimoga, Dandeli, as well as from Kolhapur and Konkan area, which actually, via and also the meat products, which are exported, air exported to the Middle East. And because of the cold chain unavailability, a lot of problems do occur. And I'm sure that our fellow colleagues who were the panelists today would also look at it as an opportunity of investments and opening up the new ventures of investments, especially in this state. I'm sure ASSOCHAM would lead the way towards these investments to come forth.
Sure, sir. Now I request you to please propose the vote of thanks for this vibrant session on the cold chain industry, where we had a very vibrant panel coming from every diverse sector, be it FDI, Venkat Ramana sir was there, be it Marx, who Miss Jaya. So she elaborated everything where all the facilities included in the cold chain and then we have Sri Saroop ji who elaborated his field of expertise. Then we have Gubba sir. So I mean, my question is still pending with Gubba ji. So he is here with us. I'd like to ask a very small question if time allows, and then you can propose a vote of thanks later on.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So, I remember the last cold chain meeting with ASSOCHAM. So, virtual conference was there, and Gopaji pointed out and highlighted the problem of vaccination storage and how cold chain has to come up with in segment. So, sir, I would like to hear out once again. I mean, in terms of what is the role of cold chain in the vaccination storage in India, and how we have to meet the targets in terms of vaccination storage in cold chain. So, sir, as this is the burning issue this time, and I would like to hear it from you as the leader in cold chain, sir. Please.
So first of all, handling cold chain, yes, you as you know, we all need to have a WHO GDP compliant, and it's not a rocket science that India can't do it. We can do it. India has the number of cold storage in action right from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and Gujarat to West Bengal. India, I mean, the hype of the cold chain for vaccine is so much for the past 6 months is that India is ready. India is geared up to handle cold chain delivery from the cold chain industry. In fact, we are ready 2 months earlier. So just wanted to create with the government that please start taking actions. India needs fulfillment of vaccine. Indian cold chain is ready in all respects, whether it's reefer, stationary, data logging, final delivery. India is ready.
Right, sir. Perfectly answered, sir. And any sort of suggestion which you would like to give it to the government of Goa and government of India in terms of cold chain?
Have a interaction with start calling the private players, government wise, state wise, start calling private players and ask them how this is a problem or this is be done, and look how private players can deliver in what's needed to cause the action. आप हमको क्वेश्चन दो, हम आंसर देने के लिए तैयार हैं.
Rightly, sir. I'm very sorry, Magrish ji was saying something in between.
Yeah, Gavaji, I would like to make a mention here that Goa is a place for where pharma manufacturing is happening in a very big way, and you must be aware that 10% of the total pharma products manufactured in the country come from Goa. Not only that, almost 40% of the kits, testing kits, especially for corona, not only COVID-19 but also other testing kits facility is in Goa, and they need these cold chain facilities very much, and you must be also having a close tie-up with them. But we need to exponentially grow this sector, and there is a lot of opportunity for growth of this sector in this state.
Got it, sir. So thanks for your valuable on-court analysis. We are also है एक मतलब गोवा में कोल्ड स्टोरेज फॉर फार्मा की खपत है बोल के ऐसा एक सुनने में आया है. Thanks for that, and we shall seriously explore to set up a pharma compliant cold storage facility at least by 2023, at least by 2022. Sorry, 22.
That's nice to hear, sir.
Yeah.
And we wish you all the best. SHM is always ahead of helping and promoting investments, not only investments but also associating with the members to broaden their vistas, their business opportunities.
Thank you, sir.
Utsavji?
Yeah, yes.
Just speak a second.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Sure.
please.
I would beseech and appeal the council chairman and the honorable heads of the federations of the cold chain industry in India to prepare and submit a plan, a vision plan map from their own initiative, from their own side to the government of India. That will be more forthcoming rather than waiting for some bureaucrats bringing it to the notice of the leaders and amidst other things, pressing things. We know what the industry is, we know what the potential is, we know what the country is, and it is happy to notice that all the giants have said, yes, we are here to welcome more. There's space for everybody. So please make a collective effort, and that will help us all, I feel. Much obliged. Hanji.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah. So now, after a very warm suggestion from Venkataramana sir, now I would like to request Mangrish ji to please extend the vote of thanks, and so that we can have the closure in a very smooth manner. Mangrish ji, please.
Thank you. It's been a very fruitful day today. We have learned quite a bit, and it's really a thing which is to be taken to the next level. I'm sure we all together at SHM will sit, deliberate, and bring out a paper, sort of a white paper on this to be submitted to the government, and which of course will benefit the members, stakeholders as well. It's a matter of great honor and privilege to extend a vote of thanks to the luminaries present in the session today. First of all, I would like to propose a hearty vote of thanks to our special guest of this conference, Sri Rajesh Goyal ji, President, Federation of Cold Storage Association of India, Sri Pamati Venkataramana, International Corporate Lawyer and Chief of PVR Laws, Ms. Jaya Jha, Manager, Maersk Lines Limited, Sri Kiran Gubbaji, Director and CEO of Gubbas Cold Storage Private Limited, Sri Swarup Bose, CEO, Celsius Logistics Solution Private Limited, Sri Pramod Shetgaonkar, owner of Cold Chain India Logistics, among us, for enlightening us on the strategic perspective on the cold chain industry, opportunities, challenges, and a roadmap. We are extremely thankful to our learned panelists who have agreed to be part of this conference and who have shared industry view on the strategic perspective on the cold chain industry and what is the roadmap ahead in order to provide upthrust to this sector. I, on behalf of SHM, would like to thank Government of Goa for extending their valuable support. I also extend my heartiest thanks to invitees, media, and all the guests who in the audience for participating in the conference and making it a success. Definitely, we have learned quite a bit, and I'm sure it will also enable to make a fruitful gainful opportunities into commercial viabilities for all the stakeholders. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mangrish ji. Thank you so much for proposing a vote of thanks. At the end, I would say one prose: Sujalam Bharat, Sufalam Bharat. ये है एसोचैम की तरफ से एक संदेश. Thank you.
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.
Let's make it Swayampoorna Bharat.
Definitely, sir. Definitely, sir. Okay. Thank you so much for joining, sir. Okay.